and this is the point of minima. It occurs at x is equal to minus b upon 2a. We'll see its explanation later on when the maxima and minima part will come. The minus b upon 2a, this value will be x value minus b upon 2a should be greater than k, and the value of f of k is on the positive side, so the a times f of k value should be greater than 0. If the value of a is greater than 0, then the value of f of k should be greater than 0. So these three are the sufficient conditions to describe that both the roots are greater than a given number k. If both the roots lie between the numbers k1 and k2, alpha and beta, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 has two roots alpha and beta. Both the roots should lie between the given numbers k1 and k2. So the conditions are f of k1, a times, if a is greater than 0, then f of k1 should be positive since it is lying on the positive side of the y-axis, and f of k2 should also be positive, it should be greater than 0. Also minus b upon 2a, should be greater than k1 and should be less than k2. Minus b upon 2a should be greater than k1 and should be less than k2. So, and d should be greater than 0 for the roots to be real and distinct. It can be equal to 0 because if both the roots are equal, that is the sufficient condition. So the sufficient conditions for the roots to lie between the given numbers k1 and k2 is that d should be greater than or equal to 0, minus b upon 2a. This point minus b upon 2a should lie between k1 and k2, and f of k1 should be greater than 0 and f of k2 should be greater than 0, given that a is greater than 0. If exactly one of the roots lie between the given interval k1 and k2, where k1 is less than k2, if only one root lie between k1 and k2, then the condition d should be greater than 0 for the roots to be real and distinct. But the most important condition is f of k1 is positive and f of k2 is negative. F of k1 will be positive and f of k2 will be negative. So if we multiply both the expressions, we can get f of k1 into f of k2 is less than 0. If this condition holds true, then the one of the roots will be lying between the numbers k1 and k2, because in no other case, if we plot the curve like this, in all the cases f of k1 and f of k1 into f of k2 will always be less than 0. So this is the sufficient condition to show that one root lie between the two given numbers k1 and k2. Suppose there is a quadratic function f of x is equal to x square plus bx plus c, such that f of 0 is equal to f of 6 and a times f of 3 is less than 0. Given that f of 0 is equal to f of 6, f of 0 is c and f of 6 is 36a plus 6b plus c. F of 6 is equal to f of 0, that is equal to c. That means 6a plus b is equal to 0. Now to predict the nature of the curve, we need to find the d. D is equal to b square minus 4ac. We substitute the value of b is equal to minus 6a from the first expression. We get 36a square minus 4ac. If we take 4a common, we will get 9a minus c. To predict the nature of the curve, it's 9a is greater than c or less than c. This is the sufficient condition to predict the nature of the curve. Also given that a times f of 3 is less than 0. A times f of 3 is 9a plus 3b plus c is less than 0. That is a. If we substitute the value of b as minus 6a, we will get c minus 9a is less than 0. So we know that a into c minus 9a is less than 0. That means a into 9a minus c is greater than 0. So this quantity will always be greater than 0. Will always be greater than 0. A into 9a minus c will always be greater than 0 as given from the condition. So we can predict the nature of the roots by commenting from the sign 9a minus c. If we know the sign of 9a minus c, we can comment on the nature of the roots. Maximum and minimum value of the quadratic equation. Given the quadratic expression as ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, we can write the expression as a into x plus b upon 2a whole square minus d upon 4a square is equal to 0. Now to find the maximum and the minimum value. Suppose if given that a is greater than 0, if the value of a is greater than 0, we have to predict the maximum and minimum value of the expression. This quantity has always to this is always a positive quantity. If we have to find the minimum value will occur. This is a perfect square. Perfect square will always be greater than equal to. It's always be greater than equal to 0. The minimum value will occur when the perfect square attains its minimum value, and minimum value of the perfect square is equal to 0. That is x plus b upon 2a is equal to 0. The minimum value of the expression will occur at x is equal to minus b upon 2a. The minimum value of the quadratic equation occurs at x is equal to minus b upon 2a. If a is less than 0, a is a negative quantity, this is a negative quantity, this is a positive quantity. If it has to attain its maximum value will occur at x is equal to minus b upon 2a. The perfect square can attain a minimum value of 0 because it is always greater than equal to 0. The equality will occur when x is equal. Let's take another example. Find the maximum value of f of x is equal to 4 minus 5x minus 4x square. We have to find the maximum value of this quadratic expression. If we take 4 and we take the minus sign common, we will be getting 5x plus 4x square. We can write this as 2x plus 5 upon 4 whole square, because if we expand we will get 4x square plus 5 by 4 into 2x into 2. So this term and this term will cancel out and we will get 5x plus 25 upon 16. So we have added an extra term, so we have to remove this term. If we expand it, we will get 4 plus 25 upon 16 minus times 2x plus 5 upon 4 whole square. If we solve this, 16 into 4, 64 plus 25, that is 89 upon 16 minus times 2x plus 5 upon 4 whole square. Since this is a perfect square, the perfect square value will always be greater than equal to 0. The minimum value for the function to attain the maximum value. The function can attain the maximum value if this quantity is minimum. The minimum value is of a perfect square is 0. So this term is 0. Then the maximum value of the function is 89 upon 16. Given the function f of x, a quadratic expression ax square plus bx minus 15 is equal to 0, does not have two distinct real roots, then find the maximum value of 3a plus b. Given that this quadratic equation does not have two distinct real roots, does not have two distinct real roots. This implies that d is less than equal to 0. D is less than equal to 0, that means b square minus 4ac. A is a and minus 15. This is less than equal to 0. It implies that b square plus 60a is less than 0. B square is always positive, then a has to be less than 0. This term can only be negative if a is negative, because negative plus positive has to be positive or negative. So this implies that a is less than 0. A is less than 0, and we have to find the maximum value of 3a plus b. We know the function as ax square plus bx minus c equal to 0. Then if we put the value of x is equal to 3, we will get 9a plus 3b minus 15 is equal to 0. 9a plus 3b minus 15 is equal to 0. Right? Since the value of d is less than 0, value of d is less than 0 and a is less than 0, the graph of this function will always be like this. This is x and this is y, this is 0. The graph of this function ax square plus bx minus 15 will always be like this. If we see the value of f of 0 is equal to minus 15, that is less than 0. F of 0 is less than 0. F of 0 is less than 0. If we see the value of f of 3 has to be less than 0. So 9a plus 3b minus 15 is less than 0. If we divide by 3, we'll get 3a plus b minus 5 is less than 0. That implies that 3a plus b will always be less than 5. Maximum value of 3a plus b can be equal to 5. Maximum value of 3a plus b can approach to 5. Graphical representation of the quadratic expression y is equal to f of x is equal to x square plus bx plus c. If we make this expression as the perfect square, we'll get the equation such as x plus b by 2a whole square is equal to 1 upon a into y plus d upon 4a. This is like the equation of a parabola. X square is equal to 4ay. Equation of parabola. So the graph of quadratic expression y is equal to x square plus bx plus c will be a parabola with its vertex as minus b by 2a and minus d upon 4a, and it will be facing upward if a is greater than 0 and d is less than 0. If d is less than 0, this equation, the quadratic equation, will not have any real roots, so it won't touch the x-axis at any of the points. So d is less than 0 and a is greater than 0. If a is less than 0, the parabola will shape or will open downwards. Since a is less than 0, the parabola will be facing downwards. If a will be greater than 0 and d is greater than 0, d is greater than 0 means real and distinct roots. If it has to get the real and distinct root, it should cut the x-axis at 2 points. The roots will be alpha and beta. The graph can be like this, anyone, but it has to cut the x-axis at 2 points. If d is less than 0, it won't cut the x-axis at any of the points. Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. For any real numbers a1, a2, a3 up to an and b1, b2, b3 up to bn, we have to prove that a1 square plus a2 square up to an square into b1 square plus b2 square up to bn square is greater than or equal to a1 b1 plus a2 b2 up to an bn whole square. With the equality that ai is equal to bi for all I is equal to, that means a1 is equal to b1, a2 is equal to b2, a3 is equal to b3.